Welcome into Tennessee Titans today. I am Tom Downey, and for as bad as that performance against the Jags was, I do think there are some positive things to take away. Is it a bit of the spin zone side we're going to get into? Yes, we will. But I think there are two main things that actually are good news for Tennessee after they got embarrassed on offense against the Jags in a nasty 10-6 loss. Number one, it relates to the 2025 NFL Draft. And it relates to the quarterback situation. Look, Tennessee is out of the playoff hunt. They are officially eliminated. It's about getting the highest draft pick possible. And losing to Jacksonville actually does really help you accomplish that. So if you want a top 5 pick, whether it's for a quarterback, to get a top receiver, top offensive player, top defensive player, whatever it is, like the video if you want to secure that top pick. Now, entering this week, Tennessee had the number 7 pick, and they were in danger of dropping out of the top 10 or sliding near the bottom of the top 10. With the loss to Jacksonville, they do jump up to number 6. Now, of note, they're right smack dab in the middle of the tiebreakers there. Patriots, Panthers, Jags, Titans, Jets, and Browns all are 3-10, and they all are driven by the strength of schedule. And right now, Tennessee is a couple points ahead of the Jets, or I should say worse strength of the Jets to get the higher pick, and a couple points behind the Jags. That's going to ebb and flow over the next couple weeks with games being played, etc. But by losing to Jacksonville and knocking them out of the top 2 spot for the time being, they now have a chance to get a top 5 pick or higher. And you think about that top 5 board, right? The teams in front of them, Las Vegas and New York, are the other teams that really stand out as teams that are in the market for quarterback help in a not great class. Probably got to find a way to get ahead of them. Now, do you want to make note? Players, coaches, not going to lose on purpose. They got too much writing in their own personal pockets from their money perspective to justify actively losing games on purpose. It's fine, understandable. You probably want to try to avoid a losing culture. I think that win over Houston really helped you in that regard. There's also this part for Tennessee. In general, just not good enough. Defense has played some great football, and the offense can't score points. And we'll talk more about that here in a little bit, specifically as it relates to the quarterback. But you're trending towards a top 5, top 7 pick, and you're going to get a damn good football player to either get a new quarterback in there or add a piece that helps your new quarterback. So what draft pick do you think the Tennessee Titans end up with? Let me know at the pinned comment of today's show if the ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Look, from an expectation perspective, I had thought these last 2 games against the shaky Commanders defense, and especially against one of the worst defenses in football, I had thought we were going to have 2 breakout games in a row from Will Levis. But hey, you at least beat the Jags, or you're not going to be in quarterback range. Now you're back in quarterback range, and he doesn't look very good the past 2 weeks. What should have been one of his best games ever was a disaster. They scored 6 points. The Jags' defensive stats going into this game, they were 29th in points allowed, 32nd in yards allowed, 31st in passing yards allowed, dead last in pass EPA per play. Every drop back, teams were getting what amounts to a third of a point. Every single drop back. Make note that Will Levis had, 32 in this game? Do the math on what that should have been, let alone the run plays and defensive plays involved there. The passing success rate, they're like 50% success rate, 30th in the NFL. Will Levis against Jacksonville, negative 0.25. Every drop back was a loss of a quarter of a point. Success rate was down there at 37%. The completion percentage over expected based on situation stuff and down and distance and just depth of target, negative 9.2. So he wasn't very, didn't complete a high rate of the passes relative to what should have been completed. It was 19 of 32, 168 yards, 3 yards on the ground, no touchdowns, no interceptions, missed NWI in the end zone for what could have been a huge play. The play of Levis, even if the numbers aren't, screamingly bad, wasn't good. He had like a mid-game when he's playing a terrible pass defense. There's no reason you had 100 yards on the ground from Tony Pollard. We'll get to the offensive line did a good job. We'll talk about that more in depth in a second. Levis was terrible in this game. Callahan gets blamed too. There's a lot of blame to go around. That's never going to cut it against a bottom-tier defense in the NFL. Simply not. More on this to come, but today's show is made possible by Gametime. They got a new feature. It's called Gametime Picks. Makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Gametime Picks filters out all the fluff. Let me show you the incredible deals on great seats. So don't have to waste time searching through thousands of different tickets. It's curation designed to save you more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and everything else in between. Check out the all-in pricing feature. Toggle it on to see your total cost up front, so no surprise fees at checkout. You can go to a Titans game. Maybe you don't want to. I get that. You can go to the Justin Timberlake concert coming up here in a couple of days. Go to the Music City Bowl. Always, by the way, wait till closer to kickoff. Tickets tend to drop the closer you get. And you're going to get the best deal from Gametime. Gametime guarantee means you'll get 110% of the difference if you find tickets in the same section and row for less elsewhere. Download the Gametime app, create your account, use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Just download Gametime today. What time is it? It's game time. Look, the O-line's been terrible this year. Acknowledging that, no doubt. Per Next Gen Stats, though, Levis was pressured on 5 dropbacks in the entire game. That is good for a season-low 14.7% pressure rate. And, Jeffrey Simmons, aptly again, says, tired of seeing my quarterback on the ground. I get all of that, but it's not like Will Levis has done a fantastic job of always mitigating that pressure and mitigating those sack rates. I mean, he is third among qualifying quarterbacks this year in pressure to sack rate. And he's not making the crazy plays out of structure that you can live with that. Like Lamar Jackson has a decently high at times pressure to sack rate, right? Baker Mayfield does. Herbert can do as well. Those guys make plays out of structure. Caleb Williams, that's kind of his whole thing coming out of USC, right? Levis cannot be taking as many sacks with a pressure to sack rate that high. That tells you, hey, this is kind of a him thing. Like, his numbers are on pace with Daniel Jones before the injury. It's not good. Like, you ran the ball great. And if I told you going into that game, you're going to force 2 turnovers on defense. You're going to hold them to 10 points, 0 in the first 3 quarters. Pollard's going to go for 100 yards on 21 carries. You would have went, wow, we won. You didn't win. And the growth we had seen from Levis the past 2 games, the past 3 games, have kind of faded away in the last 2 matchups. The completion rate is down. The yards per attempt has gone up. That's good. The touchdown to turnover ratio is way better. But there's this element you have to remember, too. It's not just about not turning the ball over. That's good. That's why they've been more competitive to an extent, why they beat the Texans. But I need plays from my offense, too. I can't stagnate and have, okay, he's got 7 touchdowns in 5 games. I'm not going to win games like that. I'm just not. It's the opposite of what the Bengals are doing. The Bengals have a great offense, no defense. Tennessee would be undefeated with Joe Burrow at the helm and that offense. Undefeated. They're not. Levis hasn't played well enough. So do you want a new quarterback? Y for yes, N for no. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. As we've gotten further along and the flashes I saw the couple weeks earlier and kind of dissipated the last 2 weeks against the Commanders and the Jags, this stat keeps ringing in my head. This year with Levis under center and not injured, like getting hurt against the Dolphins after like 2 drives, they're averaging under 17 points per game. That's awful. That's near the bottom in the NFL alongside like the Giants, who are playing their 3rd string quarterback right now. The offensive line has not been great. Way too many pressures allowed. Got to get that fixed. We all acknowledge that. Quarterback is the most impactful position on the field. He's not making enough plays. I would rather have him make a bunch of plays and then, be a lightning rod and disaster class at times, but also making stuff happen. He's not making stuff happen either. It's kind of the whole point of having the athletic, powerful arm quarterback, because he'll make big plays, and he's not making them. Right now, Tennessee is a bottom 3 offense with Will Levis at quarterback. That's a damning indictment. That tells me you got to get somebody else in there. We will go over options as the offseason comes along, but if you haven't already, hit that sub button. YouTube.com/Titans today. You look at what Levis has done overall this year and the totality of the sample size, which is a large one. 10 games, 9, call it 9 games, really. This just isn't good. Like, it's just not. You need more than that. He's got a couple games left. If he balls out, I am happy to change my mind. But if we see more of the same out of Levis, especially what we've seen the last 2 weeks where they just can't finish drives, they can't move the ball consistently. Yeah, there was a holding call that negated a touchdown. It's fine. They got the ball at 1st and goal from the 4 again on that same drive. Got to be able to score points there. Head coach gets blamed, offensive staff, supporting cast, all of it. This spot's too important. And so far this season, I had some hope earlier. Now I don't have much hope.